Hello, everyone. Back again for the first in an upcoming series of interviews that we'll be having with all of the Capture Conference 2023 speakers. First up, as we did last year, we have Ralph Gammon, who is former editor of Document Image and Report, and by the way, my name is Bryant Duhan. I'm the editor of the Document Image and Report. Took it over from Ralph. Ralph is now, I always forget Ralph's title. Ralph is now senior analyst for software with InfoSource, where he continues to cover the industry as he has always done. And today we're obviously going to talk a little bit about the conference, why you should go, what's going to be there, and then also pick Ralph's brain a little bit for some emerging trends in Capture IDP space, with a couple of questions about AI and some other stuff as well. So let's go ahead and get started, Ralph. And what is there a general theme for this year's event?
So yeah, Brian, thanks. Thanks for having me on the I don't know what to call it, a podcast, but a video cast here, and give me a chance to talk a little bit about the conference, which is something I've attended for many years, and I found to be a great event. And just want to share my thoughts. Now I was always a presenter, and I'm an organizer, so you can kind of have give you some behind the scenes scoop here, and hopefully pique everyone's else's interest in the conference. So as far as the theme goes, even before GPT exploded the conversation around AI, we had kind of settled on AI as being the theme for this year's event. Because, I mean, if you think about it, AI has been utilized in the capture technology for like 20 years in some form. I mean, there's been people talking about it. They weren't real public about it, and maybe because a lot of people have their doubts about AI, and maybe it wasn't as powerful as it is now. But in terms of pattern recognition and some of the stuff that AI does, I mean, that has been part of capture. So so building on that, really, before we saw AI, really come into the public forum with all this generative AI stuff, AI was already, it had been used in capture, but then we kind of saw this emergence of what we call intelligent document processing, which was basically one of the first business applications of AI, and it was really taking AI and using it to improve capture. So, but there was always, a question. Okay, this was kind of the proving ground. So what's next? Well, it turned out, generative AI and Chat GPT proved to be next. But those in their current form, they maybe aren't real like enterprise usable type applications, and still being tweaked for that. So the way I look at it, really, Capture and IDP vendors, they were kind of the first movers on this. Capture was kind of the proving ground for AI. We feel like the vendors kind of have a first mover's advantage, and we really want to help them explore, well, what's next for AI, especially when it comes to enterprise and business type applications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with you about ChatGPT. It's a really cool technology, but it's kind of, I don't know. So second question I have for you is, you alluded to this already. You've worn a number of different hats over the years at your attendance at the Capture Conference. So going back to the time when it was owned by Harvey, you've gone as editor, now analyst, presenter, obviously, as well as organizer. What's so unique and valuable about this event?
Well, I've always looked at it as it's kind of a summit almost for the leaders in the capture and IDP market. I mean, the presentations are great, and they're meant to be very thought provoking. A lot of future forward looking stuff. I mean, we might talk about something this year, and you might say, well, how is that relevant? But maybe 5 years down the road, and this has happened to me several times throughout the years, it suddenly becomes relevant. Something like blockchain. I remember talking about that at Harvey's conference or at the Capture conference. Over 10 years ago, and then it all kind of exploded into our consciousness a few years ago, and continues to be relevant. But in addition to the presentations, really there are great networking opportunities. It's really a place for leaders in industry to get together. A lot of partnerships have been at least initiated there. Deals made. I mean, there's plenty of time. Everyone's kind of in one spot. There's dinners, there's receptions, there's breaks, there's these thought-provoking presentations, and it's really a great place to exchange ideas and really, plan for the future of the market. and hopefully all this kind of comes together to move the whole market forward, and everyone there advances with it.
Mhm. I would add one thing. I was just thinking about my experience. I've been to the Capture conference 2 years, two times now, and one of the things that seems different to me from this conference than others that you attend is it's um, more relaxed and not rushed, I think. In other events, you're kind of scrambling from place to place and trying to figure out which track to follow. And here you're in one room. It's a relaxed environment. Everybody's in the same place, and it's easier. The networking of opportunities or seem a little bit easier to me than other events that I've been to. That again, that's your one's mileage may vary.
Yeah, no, I think that's the idea. It starts early. It's always started early, but then there are plenty of breaks built in for networking in between. And even this year, I think Kevin Neal, who a lot of you watching this probably know, has helped put together a golf outing for the Tuesday before the conference that's going to be run Wednesday and Thursday. So anyone that's interested in that, please get in touch. We have some tee time set up for early afternoon Tuesday.
Cool. So let's segue a little bit from the event itself to what we're going to be talking about the event. And obviously AI is a trend, it's an important trend. But is that the noise from AI draining out any other important trend in the IDP industry right now?
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. Yeah, couple things on that. I mean, and we are going to have a speaker from AWS there, and this is kind of a question that's kind of vexed the industry for 10 years, maybe, this idea of cloud versus on-prem, because historically a lot of capture users have been in markets like financial services and government, and these guys are maybe not too excited about using the public cloud, and a lot of them have infrastructure built up. So capture has kind of been slow to go to the cloud as compared to maybe some other industry like ECM or CRM. So there's still kind of a balance out there. I don't think it's hit the tipping point yet where it's over 50% on the cloud. There's a lot of neat stuff that can be run on the cloud, involving AI, but even some of the startups. The pushback that they get from customers is that they don't want to run their applications on the cloud. So that's kind of one topic that we have to still keep in mind that's still very vital to our industry. And kind of the other one is this idea of the RPA market, which has kind of seems like it's crested and it is kind of dissolving a little bit. And that the kind of the direction of the RPA market, which has been closely tied to capture and IDP for several years, is probably another interesting topic that's not discussed enough right now.
Okay. Um, as I was putting these questions together for us, I just had a general thought I'd like to throw out and see if you agree or disagree with it. AI seems to be hitting sort of the peak of the hype cycle right now, that Gartner invention from a number of years ago. And to me, it's sort of starting to feel a little bit like RPA. It's a very useful new technology, but it doesn't quite do everything that everybody says that it does. Does that make sense, or would you agree, disagree with that?
Well, from my standpoint, RPA was almost like more of a strategic type of, or I'm sorry, a tactical type of technology. RPA was
Hmm.
kind of designed to really integrate between systems. Maybe if a business wasn't, wanting to upgrade all their systems, so that maybe it could talk to a legacy system. It kind of has a finite set of capabilities. And I don't think the barrier to entry was very high. AI is kind of different in that AI, I feel like, has a ton of potential, but we're just kind of scratching, the tip of the iceberg. Right now, we can do like this much with AI, but
Hmm.
eventually we can do this much with AI. Whereas RPA is kind of like we can always kind of do this much, and that's why I think it kind of
Right.
hyped and faded out. But AI, I think, is only going to grow in the variety of things we use it for.
So the volume on AI will continue to let's see, to go to 11, so to speak.
Well, we're going to get pushback. Pushback is we're already starting to see some of that. Where Andrew Perry's going to come and talk about ethics in AI and some of the legislation we're going to see around that. So, I mean, I think AI's it's got so much potential. It's dangerous, and we have to
Right.
be careful with with what we do with it.
Yep, and we'll be interviewing Andrew in a couple of weeks as well. So everyone to be on the lookout for that. And also, just one note about cloud and document capture. We'll also have Kevin Neal from the Twain Working Group, and we'll be having a conversation about thin scanning and using the cloud for document imaging. So moving on to the next question is let's so define AI in the context of capture. Obviously, it's machine learning and all those things, but where does it fit? And the other interesting question is, have you noticed any frequent misunderstandings about the intersection of AI and capture?
And so we kind of think of AI, the intersection of capture and AI, to be what is now being called IDP, Intelligent Document Processing. So the aim of AI really in IDP, when you put it in capture, is really to help do all the stuff that capture has struggled with historically. It was always like, you know, this is why the IDP market emerged, right? Because capture kind of stopped, right? You could do invoices, which are kind of variably structured, but you really couldn't do unstructured documents. You could do structured documents. So there was always a ton of setup time.
Hmm.
And it was always, and once you set something up, trying to make adjustments to it or add a new form was a whole another project. Um, so AI came along to really what it's designed to do in IDP, and which we kind of view as the same thing within the capture heading. It's really just it helps simplify the training. It's really designed to do a lot more learn by example, really to cut down training times. And then when you need to retrain or reconfigure, it enables you to do that more simply. And really the goal is, I mean, it's really helped move capture into the realm of low code, no code. I mean, and then it comes down to, low code or no code. I mean, low code, then you're no code, you want to have business analysts be able to configure it, and you can probably get, a certain level of accuracy with that. But, really when you start to get to low code is when you really start to get those high accuracy levels that people expect
Hmm.
with their traditional capture applications. But that's kind of what AI does. I mean, the biggest understanding to us has been this idea that IDP is a new market. I mean, to us, there's always this market called intelligent information capture. I mean, there's always basic capture and intelligent information capture. To us, IDP is really just the natural maturity or the natural extension of what we
Hmm.
had called intelligent information capture.
Okay. Um, uh, Sorry, I had a momentary brain fart there. So, who in this industry do you think is doing a good job of taking advantage of AI tools to improve their products?
I mean, the one that comes to the top of my head is Microsoft. I mean, obviously they've invested a lot of money into open AI, and there's a lot of AI technology they make available in Azure, and really, I've seen some demos of how they integrate all this stuff, and they actually, they've had Capture and IDP for a while, but I'm finally starting to believe a little bit in their vision in this area, as they can really kind of flex their AI muscle. After that, there's a lot of companies out there doing really cool stuff. But I think the biggest challenge we have is AI, as I mentioned earlier, it's so complex. I mean, everyone's kind of doing like, we're doing this with AI, and we're doing this type of document. We're doing this type of document with AI. And it really, I feel like, as I've said many times, AI is or IDP is the technology that has launched a thousand companies. I mean, there's hundreds of companies out there in the market now addressing IDP, and there hasn't really been too much consolidation. I think it'd be great, and I mean, from a financial standpoint, it may have to happen, but for some of these, you know, IDP companies to get together and really do some cross pollination, I really think that would help kind of accelerate development and adoption of the technology. So I think that's just something to look out for over the next few years.
I guess maybe they'll take a since Toshiba and Rico is in the news. Maybe they'll take a page out of that approach, right?
Uh,
Um,
yes. I'm sorry. What's the co-development?
that's
I'm not
right.
sure. Trying to think. A joint. What do they
Yeah,
call it? I'm trying to remember. It's a JC or something along those. Yeah, they're joint manufacturing capabilities.
all
Yes.
right. So the last question I had for you is obviously you're going to be presenting at the event. What are you going to be talking about? Just give us a little bit of a tease there.
Okay. So, as many of you know, InfoSource every year we size the capture and IDP market. We put a lot of research in. We talk to the vendors, try to get a feel for how sales are. Talk to people in different regions, talk to people in different markets, and really try to get an idea of how capture grew in the last year. Where it's being used. What are some new and emerging use cases? So all that will kind of we'll put together an annual report. We kind of distill some of what's in that annual report, and we will be presenting that at the conference. But in addition to that, we also, from our discussions and from what we hear in the market, we put together a 5-year forecast and try and guide, attendees and people who subscribe to our services as to where where the market's headed. So yeah, we'll be looking at, what are the new use cases, what verticals might be growing, what regions are going to be hot, how is the distribution channel changing, all those types of things. We'll kind of dissect and go over that during our presentation at the conference.
All right. Well, excellent. Ralph, as always, it's always informative to talk to you. And for anyone else listening to this, I hope you're excited to have heard from Ralph a little bit of information about artificial intelligence and a little bit about the upcoming Capture Conference 2023. Hope to see all of you that are listening to this signed up for that. Actually, not everyone can come because seating is limited. So obviously, it's first come, first serve. So take the look in the description box below. I'm sorry, look in that box below here, below this video here, and you'll find the link to register to the event.
And I think
And
the early bird discount, I think Aaron would ask me to promote this, is available till the end of May. So
that is correct. The early bird is available through the end of May, and after that it goes away. And hopefully we'll do this again next year, unless our AI overlords decide to, they can just do this for us. We can just sit
replace
back.
us with bots. Yes, that would be exciting.